It might sound a little out there, but the secret to the most incredible Christmas cookies I've ever made is something you definitely have in your pantry right now: black pepper. Now, before you click away, just hear me out. This isn't some weird food trend. It's the key to fafanusa, and I'm going to show you how to perfect this spicy, sweet cookie and turn it into the ultimate holiday gift. For years, my holiday baking was the same rotation of classics. You know the ones: sugar cookies, gingerbread men, thumbprints with jam. And don't get me wrong, I love them, but I was looking for something more. A cookie with a real story, something that would make people stop and ask, "Wait, what is that?" This search led me down a wonderful rabbit hole of old European recipes, and that's where I found them. Fafanusa. Although written down, it looks like pafanus. The name literally means pepper nuts. I was sceptical, probably just like you are. Pepper in a cookie? But the more I read, the more I was hooked. This wasn't a modern food blogger invention. It was a tradition stretching back centuries in Germany. So I took a leap of faith. I trusted generations of German bakers, and the result was absolutely incredible. These cookies are warm, complex, and chewy, and today we're not just making them, we're coating them in rich, dark chocolate and making a jammy middle to make them the star of any Christmas gift basket. The soul of a fafanusa cookie is the spice blend. This is where all the magic happens. We're not just talking a sprinkle of cinnamon here. This is a full-on orchestra of warm, aromatic spices. First, you've got your familiar holiday friends, like cinnamon for its sweet warmth, a little allspice, and then some cloves to bring in those deep woody notes that just smell like Christmas, and mace, which is more pungent but less sweet than nutmeg spice. Mace is the lacy part found around the nutmeg seed, by the way. And then the star of the show, black pepper. We're not just using enough to make these cookies hot. That's not the point. The pepper is here to make everything else pop. It provides this subtle, tingling warmth on the finish that cuts through the sweetness and just makes the other spices sing. It's that unexpected, sophisticated little kick that has you reaching for another one. The name pepper nuts is no mistake. It's a nod to this cookie's unique history. And let me tell you, when you combine all of these, the aroma that fills your kitchen is absolutely intoxicating. Now let's build the foundation. What makes fafanusa so special is their texture. The best ones have a dense but satisfyingly chewy bite, not a light cakey crumb. And the secret to that perfect chew is all in the wet ingredients. Instead of the usual cake method of creaming butter and sugar together, we're gently going to melt our fat in a saucepan, and to that we'll add our sweetener, a beautiful floral honey. This combo is key. The honey adds a lighter sweetness and keeps the cookies moist. We'll heat them together just until the butter is melted, and then let the mixture cool down a bit. This part's important. If it's piping hot, you risk scrambling the egg. Into this cooled fragrant syrup, we'll beat one large egg to bind it together. In a big bowl, I have all my dry ingredients. I've got my plain flour and spices, including the black pepper, and a little baking powder. And finally, we add our warm, wet ingredients directly to the gorgeous flour and spice blend. This allows the spices to bloom, releasing their essential oils and making the flavour even more intense. You can mix it on a low speed, but I prefer to mix it by hand, because you only want to do it until it just comes together. Be careful not to overmix here. We're not trying to develop a ton of gluten. The dough will be thick, rich, and a bit sticky, and that's exactly right. And now for the most important part, the step that requires a little patience but pays off big time: chilling the dough. If you let it rest in the fridge for about half an hour, it does two critical things. Firstly, it makes the sticky dough so much easier to handle and roll into balls, and more importantly, it gives the spices time to really meld and mature. The flavours will get deeper and richer and more complex. The rest is what separates it from a good cookie or an unforgettable one. While our dough is chilling and all these amazing flavours are getting to know each other, it would be a perfect time to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying this little trip into Christmas baking history. And don't forget to ring the bell so you won't miss any of our festive treats this season. Our dough has chilled and you can already smell the difference. The aroma is deeper, spicier, just incredible. Now for the fun part, shaping our cookies. Pfeffernusse are traditionally small, about the size of a walnut, although I must admit, mine end up a little bit bigger. To keep it simple, I like to use a spoon. I feel the dough in my hands to try and keep them uniform, which helps them bake evenly. Just grab a piece of dough and roll it into a smooth little ball between your palms. If your hands are warm, you can wet them to prevent the dough from sticking. Place the balls on the parchment-lined baking sheet with a little space between them. They'll puff up and get these lovely little cracks on top as they bake. We'll bake these in a preheated oven at about 180 degrees C or 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. You'll know they're done when their sides are firm and the bottoms are just getting a little bit brown. They'll still feel a bit soft in the centre, but they'll firm up perfectly as they cool. Once the cookies are baked, let them cool on the pan for a few minutes before moving them to a wire rack. And now we get to choose how to finish them. The most traditional finish for a pfeffernusse is a simple dusting of powdered sugar. You can just toss the warm cookies in a paper bag with some confectioner's sugar and give them a gentle shake. It creates that classic snowy look, you know, the ones you see at the German market. It's simple, elegant and delicious. But today, we're taking it up a notch. We're turning these into the ultimate Christmas gift, and for that we need jam and chocolate. Plum or blackberry jam is best, sweet and fruity. I make both of these jams from fruit that I grow in my allotment garden and harvest every year to turn into yummy delights. In a couple of weeks we'll take a look down there and see what is happening. A rich, dark, semi-sweet chocolate is the perfect partner for these spicy cookies. The slight bitterness in the dark chocolate is a beautiful contrast to the warmth of the spices and that subtle kick from the pepper. To make the coating, a simple bain-marie will help us melt the chocolate safely and without damaging its flavour. While it melts, we need to scalp off the top of each cookie and spread a small amount of jam on to glue it back together. Now take each cooled filled cookie and dip it top side down right into that glorious chocolate. Lift it out and let the excess drip off. I like using my silicone tongs here, it stops me from getting my hands all covered in chocolate, and of course the chocolate's quite hot too. And then I place them onto the parchment paper, which will stop it from sticking when it is set. Once all your cookies are dipped, let the chocolate set completely. You can leave them at room temperature or pop them in the fridge to speed things up, which is what I do. The best part? The flavour of the pfeffernusse actually improves with age. They soften a little and the spices become even more pronounced after a day or two, making them the perfect make-ahead cookie for holiday gifting. And there you have it, authentic German pfeffernusse, transformed into a truly spectacular chocolate-covered Christmas treat. I have been looking forward to this, as I normally have to wait until Christmas to share them with everyone. But for you, I'll have one now. Let's try one. Oh wow, I love these. The chocolate shell gives way to that incredibly chewy, dense cookie. First, you get the rich, dark chocolate, and then bam! That wave of warm spices hits you. The cinnamon, the cloves. The jammy centre gives a sweet kick and a different texture feel. And then right at the very end, there it is. A gentle, pleasant warmth from the black pepper that just blossoms at the back of your throat. It's not spicy, it's just warm. It's complex, comforting, and absolutely delicious. The pepper isn't weird at all. It's the secret that makes the whole cookie sing. These are the cookies that will have everyone talking at your holiday party. Pack them in an airtight tin with a parchment paper between the layers, and they'll be the star of any Christmas hamper. I truly hope you give this recipe a try. It's a small leap of faith, but I promise it is so worth it. It is a requested part of my Christmas hampers from a number of friends and family every year. If you make these pepper-kissed cookies, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. You can find the full recipe with the measurements down in the description box. Thanks so much for joining me in the kitchen today. I will take this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy Baking!